It's Friday, April 8th, 2022, and this is Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. I'm Dennis, and I'll be your host as we review the latest Marvel happenings across all media, as well as all other superpowered stories that caught our attention. And when I say we, I'm referring to my wonderful co-host, Ricky, who had a little bit of a technical difficulty a minute ago.
Yeah, we were in the
It's
wrong
funny.
show.
It's funny. We run a tech check, but we don't actually do any tech check.
Yeah, we can make sure the lights turn on.
But it was an easy fix. Sorry for anybody who had to wait about an extra minute and a half.
For those of you who are looking for the soapbox right now.
Yeah, this is not the soapbox. Sorry, this is awkward. But for the audio listeners, they had the benefit of me editing out that flub at the beginning, so no worries. And actually, for anybody coming late to YouTube, I'll cut that part out too. But anyways, it's me and Ricky again. We're doing this. We're powering through without a Frank. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. We're gonna make this work. But just because I don't have faith that it will with just the two of us right now, I'm gonna bring out our special guest. He's a good friend who just got back from seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's Clarke.
Hello, everyone. I make a career at filling in for Frank.
No, you're not filling in. Frank's gone.
Yeah, Frank's dead to us.
He's let no, we didn't say that. But Frank has asked to leave the show.
Frank is the Terrence Howard.
Well, clearly, I am a devout listener, and since I missed that one,
yeah. There was a lot of tech check to be had. Yeah. But it's cool. Welcome to Clarke. How was the movie?
It's a trip. It's very good. Michelle Yeoh is amazing as always, and it was great to see Ki Kwan back in action, and just great acting all through. It's one of the trippiest movies I've ever seen. So it's probably up there with Donnie Darko.
Cool.
And so
you mentioned something. You said Michelle Yeoh was great as always. I question as always. I love Michelle Yeoh, but was she great in Shang-Chi?
She wasn't the worst part of that movie.
What's her name in Shang-Chi?
Aunt.
Auntie. Yeah.
What were two characteristics that she had outside of being related to Shang-Chi and his sister?
Wait, are you really trying to argue against me saying that Michelle Yeoh is great?
No,
that's your goal.
Great. She's great as always. I'm saying most of the time she's pretty great.
As usual.
I listened to her
and I will say that, if she is relegated just to the auntie role in Shang-Chi, that is the writers and director.
I thought she was better in Guardians too.
She was better in Guardians 2.
Yes, she was.
She was really cool in Guardians 2. Yeah. Yeah. And I love her in Star Trek Discovery also. I love her in most things, but I am still excited to see that movie. I plan on seeing it tomorrow.
It is her first starring role. That's what I learned today.
Nice. In an American movie, right? Or American movie or a period?
Any movie. Period. Any
really?
Her first leading.
Really? No.
There's The Touch. Yeah, you're wrong. She's done plenty. Wing Chun. She's led movies for decades.
Yeah, that sounded wrong.
Man, NPR is tripping then.
Well, that is fair.
Yeah, that's true.
It's because I don't work there yet. I would have told you.
Michelle Yeoh specialist.
That's a ringing endorsement to get yourself hired there.
Yeah. I would have warned him of that one.
NPR, they suck until Clarke works there.
Oh man.
All right. Well, anyways, we are here to be nerdy on a Friday night because that's what we like to do. Viewers be damned. If people are here, we love you. If you're not here, it's okay. We're gonna have fun anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just doing this. This is what we do. This
We
is our Friday
entertain
nights.
each other.
Exactly. Yeah. But I do have some formalities for anybody that is listening and spying on us while we have our private Friday night conversation. As advertised, we'll be putting up a spotlight on Moon Knight episode 2 tonight. But before that, we have some nerd news to discuss and another round of Contest of Champions, aka our unlicensed Marvel trivia game. For those of you joining us live, don't be shy. We'll be checking the comments regularly. And if you can't get enough of us, I think Ricky knows where I'm going with this. If you can't get enough of us, you can head over to patreon.com/denxmedia, where you'll find a variety of creative offerings, including recent episodes of our live after show, The Soapbox. There was no episode last week, but there was the week before and all the weeks before that, pretty much.
There's a few there.
Yeah, there's a few. I think we're on like 52. I think it's a full year of the Soapbox that we have.
Really? Wow.
Okay. Yeah. It's
Congratulations.
Thanks, I guess. Yeah. The Soapbox is a special place where we just do this longer and without any structure at all.
No.
But it's fun. It's fun. And we talk about anything. Like we try to like stick to mostly Marvel stuff here or something in the same, genre or whatever, but the Soapbox, everything's fair game. It doesn't matter. But yeah, patrons get exclusive access to chat with us, live, like right after this show. But if that's not your thing, don't worry. We release them to the public the following week for free. Excuse me. Yeah. So I'm gonna follow up with everybody since I think Clarke, this is already your second time on the show this year. It is at least second.
Yep.
At least, yeah. He was the first episode of the Peacemaker show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't have any like official question I got to ask.
Still to this day, never skip the opening credits.
Never.
Yeah.
It's too great. It's too great. Anybody who does skip them, I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of person that is. The kind that just got dogs running wild in the background.
Yeah. They're watching the Peacemaker intro right now, so
it's great. That reminds me, by the way, Ricky, you and I both attended WonderCon last week.
Yeah, we saw each other.
How many Peacemakers did you see?
None.
What? We literally pointed to one while you were with us. How?
Okay. There was one. There was one.
I saw like 4 or 5. There were so many of them.
I only saw one.
I feel like you weren't looking.
I probably wasn't.
Yeah.
I was happy to not see any white dragons. Yep, no white dragons. That's good.
I actually saw 7. No, I did not. No white dragons.
No Riddlers, which I feel.
I saw a Riddler at the end of the day. At the end of the day, he was pretty good. I saw him.
I don't know if you can cosplay as a Riddler.
Hey, villains do cosplay.
You're wrong. I saw it. It was good.
All right, so I'll be.
Just hopefully not KKK villains.
Yeah. That's the awkward one to do.
Well, yeah. WonderCon was cool. It was WonderCon. Like it didn't feel different, right? I didn't feel the effects of the pandemic.
Really? Not everyone wearing masks and the intercom telling people to keep wearing their masks every 20 minutes or so.
I was surprised. The mask situation there was a lot better than I anticipated. Yes, there were still people unmasked. But
by the way, I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying, how did you not notice that?
But like in terms of like the setup and the structure of everything, it just seemed like WonderCon. Like,
yeah, I think the aisles were spaced out pretty good. Like a little bit more than they used to be.
Mm-hmm. There was a good flow to it all, but I feel like there's always a good flow with WonderCon. I'm glad they pushed Funko like in the very back of that center. Like they just had their own little section of cram people into.
Yeah, and they
LA Comic Con was similar. It was a little more spread out. It had that feeling.
Yeah, the artist alley, the space between the aisles was pretty big. It was, you could easily fit another row of booths in between them, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being among my fellow nerds for even, just a handful of hours. That was nice. It was nice to see that. And I did, we got outside several times throughout the day. And so we did see a lot more of the cosplay, because that's a lot of them hang out there because of the mask restrictions prevent them from wearing their mask inside the show. So, they want to look accurate, so they do it outside. But by the way, I did run into a fan of, or a friend of the show, who will be on in a few weeks. Right at the end of the as we were leaving, we ran into Nas and his family. So I thought that was pretty funny, just like randomly to run into him. I guess he was just in town for Disneyland, and when he got there, he found out WonderCon was happening.
WonderCon.
He had a surprise WonderCon. He found out it was there, so he checked to see if he could get a hotel and tickets, and they were both available. And so he just extended his family's vacation for a few days to do WonderCon and then Disneyland. That's like, I don't know. That's like best case scenario for like your kids, right? Like you're just like, I thought we were going to Disney. Wait, we're doing that and this? That's pretty cool.
You didn't do any panels, right?
I did 0 panels. None of them were very interesting looking to me.
Like,
but
yeah, I don't think I needed to be there more than like after I left. I'm like, man, I was probably there like 2 hours longer than I could have been.
Yeah, probably. Clarke, I know you weren't able to make it, but that's because you had a better reason. You just gotten back from New Orleans.
Yeah.
How was that?
My first vacation since before the pandemic.
Yeah. Clarke went no mask, full no mask.
That is well, we wore our masks on the streetcars. That's where it was still required. But it was a little strange to be in the museums. And nobody wearing masks with all these people. I'm like, that's different. But I got tested right when I got back and no COVID. So went through. It was beautiful. New Orleans is a wonderful, wonderful city. Great food, great music. We had a wonderful time. And it was our first time missing WonderCon in quite a while. But this trip we had planned for a bit and just turned out that way.
Did you see a Falcon or a Winter Soldier down there?
I did not.
Okay. But you know what my favorite thing about him being on that trip was? It didn't stop him from giving a Moon Knight review the night that the first episode came out.
I did watch it there.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care, New Orleans or not, I'm watching Moon Knight.
Describe to me that setup, Clarke. Were you on a phone, a laptop, or were you
My
sharing a hotel room?
Yeah, we were in a hotel room, and
let's see,
guys, we're watching Moon Knight right now.
See, Clarke, that is why we'll always invite you back to the show, because you're the kind of guy that'll watch Moon Knight in New Orleans. I'm not judging that at all.
That was after music, and
there's no judgment here.
Yep.
Did you watch it on midnight or the next day? Or
I saw it on the next day. I saw it on Wednesday.
Yeah. I can't do the midnight thing. I'm too old. Sorry.
Not anymore.
That's
cool.
It's not worth it.
What's your favorite food that you had there?
Oh, that's tough. I had this incredibly good duck on the first night that we were there. It was cooked so well. And then some of the barbecue shrimp was amazing. And we went to the place that originated the Bananas Foster dessert, which was flaming bananas with cream, which was always fun. And so it was really, really good. Alina's favorite place was this little restaurant called Crystal that mimics White Castle, but she felt was far superior. And if she doesn't say something in the comments, I will be shocked because she hates that place.
I'm pretty sure everything is far superior to White Castle. I mean, that's my hot take, but.
So we found that they have a New Orleans equivalent called Crystal.
Gotcha. Funny note, because I know that the listeners care about these things right now. I just had White Castle for dinner, so that's really weird.
Ooh.
Like the microwave ones?
Yeah, I hate those things. I hate those things, but I had a giant lunch and I didn't feel like eating something good or something.
Like, what will wreck my body the least?
Yeah. 2 tiny burgers, whatever. Yeah. Okay, well, that was enough of the chit chat and the random off topic stuff. I appreciated hearing that. If you want more of that, you got to tune into the Soapbox later tonight. But for now, I think we got some things on the agenda. Ricky, I think you got some news for us.
We got some stuff to talk about.
Just so you know, I really hope she was talking about Crystal and not this show, because EK wrote in to say worst place ever.
Yeah, well, they're both factually correct. So
do it, Ricky.
Worst person ever.
Oh man.
Oh.
You're starting, huh?
Where was I going to go with this? So this past week, actor Ezra Miller, who is the Flash in the DC movie EU, whatever the movie universe is called, was arrested for an altercation taking place at a karaoke bar. This is kind of the latest in a string of troubling predicaments that he has found himself in over recently. And as Rolling Stone's reporting, there was an emergency meeting at Warner Brothers talking about his future in the DC EU. There's been kind of conflicting reports on like what that meeting exactly was and if it really was something as, I guess, news or buzzworthy as this is. But I just kind of wanted to get your guys' takes on the situation, and then to kind of broaden the conversation a little bit more. Like, what's your line? Like, what will it take for him to do, or what's the actor? What's your guys' process on like, all right, Ezra Miller needs to be gone, or any actor that's, has outside troubles?
Clarke, take that one first.
Okay. Well, I remember a couple years ago, he was in the news for shoving a fan. Remember that story?
Times,
yeah, quite a few times. And I'm going to say that's part of my line. When people are physically assaulting others, that's going beyond, just there. And, there's actors that, they say they like to get drunk or they do drugs or stuff, but they don't hurt other people. When you start hurting other people, and then especially one of the reasons that's important is you can't film the Flash if he's in jail. So
the only thing that can catch him is jail.
Well, I mean, there's others,
No,
there's levels,
totally
but,
right. Yeah.
But if he does assault somebody, that's getting into serious stuff. Beyond. I mean, there's all the stories that say the rock stars that trash hotel rooms, and for them that's just money, so they just pay it, and that's their penance. Like, okay, whatever,
yeah,
we just pay it. But they weren't assaulting people, they weren't hurting people, they weren't and such. And so when you cross that line to actually hurting others, that's when things go beyond just money. But I think that's every actor, they have insurance for this that they have to pay, and I think he's risky, and so he's had this chance, he's had a lot of chances, and I hope he gets the help that he needs, and I hope he feels better, because I think he has talent. But I think that they're making a film about a multiverse of Flashes, and if it's not Grant Gustin, they can easily find somebody else, I think, to replace him.
But
I think everybody assumes that.
Yeah. This one would deter you guys from watching The Flash, or no?
No, I would still. I will still watch it, because there's tons of other people that worked on that movie. That's always my opinion. Even if the star has issues, there's so many people that work on that, and I don't want to deny them.
Sink the whole ship, essentially.
Yeah, it's getting easier and easier for me the longer we go to separate art from artists, longer we go, I mean, the longer we do the show, but also the older I get, just because like the reality is some works are so good that it's really hard, like I was just talking to my wife today about the fact that like it's really weird that like Thor 4 still doesn't have a trailer, and she's like, but it'll be good because it's Taika. And I was like, yeah, it's true, it is Taika, and then she just randomly said, man, I really hope he never gets Me Too'd.
He got kind of a weird backlash though for Jojo Rabbit. That movie doesn't sit well with a group of people. I think a larger group of people than others realize. You know, but not to say that.
But that's art, though. You know what I mean? Like art art is not intended to sit well with everyone. Like that's not the way art's supposed to be made. But as you know, like, is it cool when art happens to be appreciated by a larger group of people? Yeah, you know, for sure. But you know, the point, like, it was funny to me when she said it, because it just came out of nowhere. And it's just, it's kind of, it speaks to a lot about what Frank has been saying, you know, all last year, is that, like, the more creative they are, you just assume something's bad. The weird thing is, I haven't really seen that much creatively from Ezra Miller that impressed me. So, like, does he just think he's a better actor than, you know? I don't know. I just feel like it's weird sometimes, because I know we're called the Mostly Marvel podcast, but I truly do love DC also. The reason we call it this is because Marvel is just got their stuff together. And so, like, they've got a system in place for vetting their talent. They've got a system in place for setting up morality clauses to ensure that they've got a system in place to keep them locked into as many movies as they need to, and to keep them employed in other movies as well, so that they don't feel like they're trapped in something. You know what I mean? Most of the people that are in that universe have had very pleasant things to say about the process. You know what I mean? But like the Warner Brothers thing, from the very beginning, that Justice League just felt like it was a rush job. You know what I mean? To get caught up to where Marvel and Disney were. And I mean, we just keep seeing the cracks throughout the whole thing, and it's really awkward, you know, like, because, like, I saw this funny picture the other day of, like, the original cast, like, it's a cast photo of the Justice League, but, like, everybody's in black and white except Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, because they're all gone, right? And you just keep losing them. So at this point, you got two people holding down your Justice League, because there's a really good I mean, we've all known that there was a really good chance that this would be Ezra Miller's only Flash movie anyways. Like, regardless of all the stuff going on outside, you know, like, they have the
that ripping that Band-Aid a lot easier.
Well, yeah, because you know, Warner Brothers executives have said that they really do want to get away from that Snyderverse, you know, like, as much as they can. And I think James Gunn did a great job of doing that with still paying a nice funny tribute, which a lot of hardcore DC fans actually hate. Like, I've seen a lot of people really hate that Justice League cameo at the end of Peacemaker, because they feel like it somehow, you know, makes a joke out of what Zack Snyder put together. And it's like, I think what Zack Snyder put together makes a joke of itself, just because
I think it makes a joke of the situation. Like, it almost feels very meta. Like,
I was not a fan of that cameo, but it for nothing to do with Zack Snyder. And so I thought
it was funny.
I just felt it was added on, like, as a joke. You know, it was only there for the joke.
It was a joke, but it, like, at the same time, like, I honestly feel like, you know, I'm the kind of guy that plans a D&D campaign where you'll end up finding the bad guy in the bathroom. And I like that joke. I like when things don't go according to plan, you know, like when things like that's the point of Peacemaker, is he's the guy that deals with the problems that the Justice League don't, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. But yeah,
I mean, it was okay to me. It didn't, but yeah, Ezra Miller, and I made the point before, just to kind of, as a historical perspective, that's what a lot of people felt about Robert Downey Jr. when he was first cast, because he had that
baggage
in and out of rehab thing, and he cleaned up. He cleaned up his life and you know, the rest is legendary and stuff.
He's like, so reverse RDJ.
And that's what I hope for Ezra Miller. Like, he's not gonna carry the whole universe. But
I don't think he's had enough life to be reverse RDJ, because like, you weren't even alive when RDJ was doing the things.
Know the good.
Dude, really? Like, that's amazing. There's literally a time that I remember as a kid listening to the news and finding out that he had been arrested because he literally woke up in some neighbor kid's bed.
Yep. Yeah.
Not with the kid in it, but he just drunkenly or drug, like he was completely trashed, ended up walking into the wrong house and going to sleep in the kid's bed. And that's a thing. That's a thing that he used to do. And like, more power to him for cleaning up that act, you know what I mean? But yeah, Disney had, when they were hiring him. Well, sorry, it wasn't Disney. It wasn't Disney.
Yeah, it was Disney then. But Marvel, Favreau cast him, took the,
But jokes aside, I don't think my ignorance is like a unique thing. There is a ton of people that have no clue about.
That's just why I brought it up, to kind of give some perspective of the risk, that Marvel took, and it paid off. But so I hope Ezra cleans up his again, and because I hate, I don't like seeing young stars fall down, get stuck in drugs or assault or things fall off the wayside. I don't like that. So good, good luck to him. But this is probably his only Flash film. But
I think the more awkward thing about it, just in general, before you move on to the next thing, is they're playing superheroes, and so like by extension, they kind of have to behave a certain way out in the public, because people are looking up to them. You know what I mean? And so like, it just kind of sucks when this guy like is a superhero, but he's going around beating up people like karaoke bars. Like that's not cool.
It's not doing justice, man.
It's not the look you want. You want to know that like the person who's playing the superhero, when they're not doing that, they're off donating millions to like relief for humanitarian efforts and stuff like that. Not beating up people. It's just not. It's not a good
like Momoa, who's so into environmental. Yeah, he's so into environmental action and things. The guy is Aquaman, off camera and stuff with the stuff that he does and how he interacts. That guy's a superhero, and he takes it that way. So,
as a Kanye West fan and a fan of the movie Signs, I had to learn very quickly to separate the art from the artist. But I don't know what my line is on when I won't stop or I won't go see the Flash movie, but it's definitely
I'll tell you, I would not go see the Flash movie if it had the same word of mouth and reviews as Morbius.
Okay, bad reviews is Clarke's line, but I don't.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I lost my train of thought where I was going to go.
Sorry.
With this. It's all good. The Flash coming to a theater next year.
Sometime next year, maybe.
Sometime next year, maybe.
Hopefully Michael Keaton's way better in that than he was in Morbius.
yeah. Michael Keaton Redemption.
Oof, that was a stinker. It was a stinker.
Well, moving on to a movie that's coming out soon. A little bit of Doctor Strange news.
No. Sonic 2 came out today. Oh, okay. We're doing. No, I'm kidding.
We can talk about Sonic 2.
I'm kidding. America Chavez,
co-creator, just had some negative comments on, I guess, their offer of for using that character in the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, and it kind of goes into the Edward Baker story that we went into last year.
Yeah, it's the same story again. It's like they basically every time somebody is a creator in the comics, and then their stuff makes it to the movies, it's like I think they get offered like a check for like $5,000.
That's what he said in this. So Joe Casey, the co-creator of America Chavez, he said he was offered in the ballpark of the $5,000 range. And to his credit, he mentions in this article that, he fully is aware that he signed off. Like none of that work is his. Yeah. But the onus should come on Disney to compensate in at least some better capacity, is what he's arguing, for characters that make it to the big screen in that capacity.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's just awkward because like, we like to believe that everything's like, art for the sake of art. It's freaking business, man.
All money, baby.
All of it's money. And, you can either like the thing that's making Disney a lot of money, or you can just tune out and not watch it. But yeah, it does suck for the artists that this is their standard offering.
I mean, for the big names, the families of the creators of Superman and Batman, have the stipulations why it always has to be said Superman created by Joel Siegel, and Schuster. What's his first name? Something Schuster.
Jerry
Now
Schuster.
I feel Jerry Schuster. There we go.
Wait, isn't it? No, is it Jerry Siegel and Joel Schuster?
Joel Schuster.
I think so.
My apologies to the creators of Superman that but I jumbled at least the right pieces. Or Bob Kane,
Schuster.
Yeah. So, you see that on everything that they do that has Batman and Superman, because that's written in the contract in order to use the characters.
Yeah.
But you clearly do not see anything like that for all these new characters that are done, and like they know they work for the big comic books. They
I think they do it for Spider-Man too, and they do it for any character that's headlining the movie too. They do try to, like, where they can, like Doctor Strange will say, who it's created by, like, it's as Ditko, right? Ditko created Strange.
But like a special thanks to so and so.
It'll say that, and they do get special thanks at the way back end of the credits. But yeah, like I don't know the correct thing to do here, but ever since I heard Ed Brubaker's story, none of these stories surprise me anymore, because that guy created the Winter Soldier, and like the entire storyline, everything that has to do with that character is because that guy just came up with the story that turned into easily one of the best movies in the MCU. And 5,000 was his offer. And he tore it up so that he can reserve the right to complain for the rest of his life.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know the right compensation, but it just always feels like it could be a little more, right?
1% of gross.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no, they're not getting points on that thing.
1% of 1%, even, man.
That's still a shit ton of money.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Do that. Like, maybe.
But again, it's not inconsequential, especially since how much of the comics, the comic arcs, the comic stories they pull on for these characters.
Yeah.
Well, in the article goes on to kind of mention Joe Casey kind of got his kind of claim to fame with the Ben 10 show on Cartoon Network. He's a creator of Ben 10, so he has a little bit more insight on the royalties and kickbacks that you get from creating something and owning it in that sense. So he seemed to just kind of be, back a little. It's upset that there's really no kickback. Like it's just 5,000 is almost like FU money,
Yeah.
So the real awkward thing about it is, so the MCU has been pretty much mining the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for storylines for like all of it. Like they've honestly ignored most of everything that happened in the 60s and 70s and a lot of what's happened in the 80s, because a lot of the stories have just been more like streamlined and kind of like all focused in that larger, how do these play with each other, because before the 80s, crossovers were like a once in a while kind of thing.
You just have villain of the week stories.
Yeah, exactly. So they want to create the same universe or a similar universe to the one that exists now in the comics, and that's been created on the backs of a lot of younger artists, right? Because we're talking about the comics that are coming out right now. So the problem I see is, everybody's always asking, when's the bubble going to burst? The bubble's going to burst when you run out of contemporary stories, because artists are going to start realizing that they're getting a raw deal and they're going to move on elsewhere. Now, I'm just saying the Marvel bubble will burst at that point. You know what I mean? Unless they just try to do it like off book, and that's not going to go well. So we'll see. All
right. I think that'll wrap the news for today. You guys,
I thought you had a figure, an action figure.
Oh, we got a toy. You have some news.
I guess it's me. You're the one who told me that you had it.
Let me.
Right after Ricky asked me the question last Friday about, do you think that if we'll get a Mr. Knight figure from Hasbro, they revealed it on Saturday. They're like, yeah, you are going to get a Mr. Knight figure in addition to your Moon Knight figure. So there you go. I kind of do wish that he came with alternate arms to have those sleeves rolled up.
Well, that's the 2-pack you're getting in that comic.
Yeah, that'll come later for sure. Yeah.
The massless head.
That's cool. Like I really dig that we get two different Moon Knights to show off the different looks that he has in the show that we'll be talking about later. Yeah, and so I think
first Mr. Knight
figure, yes, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Unless you count those figures in Fortnite that look pretty similar. Yeah, no, this is the first Mr. Knight figure. Honestly, Mr. Knight's a fairly new character in the comics. Like he's only been around in the last decade or so. So he's new to me, and I kind of feel like that jacket's just a little short, but that's just me. Maybe that's the look he's going for. What do you think of these figures, Clarke?
I don't dig the loafers.
Yeah, the shoes look weird, right?
That's true. The shoes do look weird. It looks like there's too much texture that I'm used to seeing him. I'm used to seeing more in a tuxedo style, straight like cotton or that. But that being said, I think these figures look amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing about the MCU is in general they just want to put extra texture everywhere. You know what I mean? Whereas like with the comic book figures, it's very sleek, very just like one or two textures, period.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing a very smooth white on him, but
I'm still getting used to Moon Knight being like a mummy wrap, but true. I get that they wanted to make him look as far away from a KKK man as possible.
Yes. But it kind of reminds me of when Stephen Platt was drawing him, and
I read somewhere that
he had a lot of ribbons and things because it was very heavily influenced by Spawn. Back then. So the mummy wrap, I think is a perfectly fine modern interpretation.
You think we'll get a third suit, a sleek suit, a Stark suit, as you will?
Why not? I mean, I don't know about in this season, but
I guess like sleeker looking suit.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna, because I think like I said, I think the real reason they don't want to put him in a sleek one is one, like MCU, everybody has way too much texture.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like there's no character without texture in the MCU. Two, like this makes it very clear he's Egyptian themed and not clan themed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like I know a lot of people always had a weird hang up about the way he looks in the comics. It's a little iffy, but depending on the artist, I make it work. But yeah, a lot of times in the comics, actually, they draw his face to be all black.
I've seen him like where his costume is black and the face like it's a reverse almost.
His current costume is all black below the chest.
Okay.
But it's white chest up and arms, and then white boots. But it's like an armor. It's a new armor. But yeah, they put way more black into him for the modernized costume. Probably for the same reasons I've been mentioning as a joke. I don't think that's a joke. If it's a business they're running, they have optics they're trying to be concerned about.
No, so 100%.
I'd rather have the mummy look than completely just rechange the entire color scheme of Moon Knight's costume.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't love his new costume in the comics because there's so much black on it, but I'd be down to see more of the mummy wrap kind of thing.
I don't even know what it looks like. I'm looking it up now.
The armored Moon Knight, you'll find it. Yeah,
like a Punisher Moon Knight.
In any case, both of these Moon Knights are going to go up for pre-order on the 12th. What is that, Tuesday? I think so.
Yeah.
At like 1 p.m. Eastern. So check them out if you're interested.
Cool.
That's all the news.
That's all the news. Yes, that's all I got.
All right. Is it time? Should we maybe do something to entertain Clarke before we move on to the other thing that entertains Clarke?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Clarke, it's been a while since you played a game with us. We got a new one that I think it's fair to say that we don't know a lot about Moon Knight in the comics. I don't know about you.
It's very fair to say.
I don't read a lot.
I don't know a lot about Moon Knight.
I kind of want to know more about Moon Knight, but so in the process, I decided, you know what, I can teach myself some more about Moon Knight, and maybe play with you guys and see if you can guess the names of his most notorious villains. So here we go.
Right.
Name that Moon Knight villain. Here's your first one. He's a very blue-looking guy with a cape, and he is. It's cut off of that picture, but he is fighting Moon Knight in that shot, in front of the Mona Lisa, apparently. So your options are A, Blue Moon, B, Shadow Thief, C, Midnight Man, D, The Shade, and E, Blue Noir.
Man, you are good at making fake names.
The Shade sounds racist, so no. Shadow Thief. No. What do you? I'm leaning towards Midnight Man, Clarke. What do you got?
Midnight Man sounds cheesy enough to be a comic character. Blue Noir, I think, is not. I think that's a boys reference. Blue Moon is just too cheesy. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you with Midnight Man.
Lock in Midnight Man.
Selena is saying Shadow Thief. So you guys are saying Midnight Man. Here we go. And the correct answer is Midnight Man. Fun fact, I didn't make up Shadow Thief or The Shade. Those are actually DC characters.
Okay, checks out.
I thought I had heard of The Shade.
Yep, they're both DC characters. All right, here we go. Next. Oh, wait, I can tell you a fun fact about Anton Morgoth.
Yeah, what does the Midnight Man do?
Anton Mogart. Mogart is what I wanted to say. Nothing is known about Anton's past before he started stealing great works of art, jewels, and such from the locations all around the world. So he's literally a thief that steals at midnight. That's his thing. Okay. And then one time he got caught by Moon Knight. One time he got caught by Moon Knight, and it got awkward because he was stopped by Moon Knight and fell into a river and was presumed drowned. In actuality, he was carried by the current to New York, and the mouth of a drainage viaduct. There, the waste in the sewer melted his face, leaving him deformed. And ever since then, he's been really pissed at Moon Knight.
The New York sewer is so bad that it melted his face.
Does Moon Knight kill? Is Moon Knight he's not anti-kill, right?
Moon Knight can kill. Yeah, he kills.
Moon Knight
kills. And so that was actually kind of the funny thing. When I knew that about Moon Knight, and so Moon Knight has kind of the similar problem that the Punisher does, where like you can say these are his villains, but I promise you, all of them are currently dead. Like they're all dead. Every single one.
Moon Knight gets the job done.
He was a Marvel Knight.
Yeah. So
part of the darker.
So he was created by Doug Mensch and Bill Sienkiewicz. And he is currently dead in the Marvel Universe. He died in March 2007. I mean Midnight Man, not the creators. No. All right, moving on. Next character. Here we go. You got this lovely lady here. She is, as you just noted, she is standing behind a stained glass window. She's got a bloody hook, it looks like, and she's wearing what looks like
a moon ring,
a red nun outfit. Oh, that might be the crescent. Yeah, it might be a crescent from Moon Knight. In any case, your options for her name are A, Lady in Red, B, Stained Glass Scarlet, C, Sister Sangre, D, Mother Mayhem, and E, the Church Lady.
Ooh.
I'm going to stick with C again. I like Sister Sangre.
So does EK out there in the audience.
I know it's not the Church Lady. That's dumb.
Hey,
isn't that special?
I do this for your amusement.
Lady in Red. Can you tell us when she was created?
1981. Also by Doug Mensch and Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh.
When did that song come out, Lady in Red?
Mother Mayhem might be closer. That's the 80s. But I'm going to stick with Sister Sangre.
I'm with Clarke. Let's go see Sister Sangre.
Selena's once again going against you guys and saying Mother Mayhem.
Not Mother Mayhem.
That would be my second guess, but I'm sticking with C.
You'd be wrong because it's stained glass
scarlet. It is stained glass scarlet. God. Wow.
I mean, I gave you a hint there with the stained glass window and everything.
Yeah.
Does she stand next to where does? Because I feel like that's so cumbersome. You have to be next to stained glass every time.
Actually, the character has evolved to look like she's actually like made of glass now, but like I didn't want to show you that picture because the art didn't translate well as stained glass.
What's that movie with the stained glass fight?
Young Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
But yeah, this character is super tragic. She was abused by her father. Her name is Scarlett as a child. And then eventually she secretly killed her father by lighting his bed on fire with a cigarette. His death was considered an accident. Later on, she moved on to become a nun, but that didn't work out. And then she ended up marrying a small-time crook, and he also abused her and stuff. So he eventually died falling down the stairs of a church. Don't know if that was, accidental as well.
Wow.
So yeah, she just became a vigilante after she had to kill her criminal son. So just a lot of death in her life, and really a lot of tragedy.
Come in
the nun part, where she was a nun for part of her life. I don't know, man. That's her name. Just to be clear, she dead also.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. There's so many dead. So many dead. Oh wait, no, she was then resurrected. That's right. She was resurrected. Sorry. Dead and then resurrected. But now she's got powers. It says after being reborn, Scarlett now demonstrates the ability to manipulate shards of glass and was essentially unkillable as long as her story persists.
Resurrected by the hand.
Yeah, there you go. But normally, before that, she used to not have powers or anything like that. But she did have like a weird psychic bond with Moon Knight. Anyways, I'm not making these up. There you go. The next one. Name that Moon Knight villain. This guy's looking pretty metal.
It's Ares.
You got 5 options. A, Doom Knight. B, Black Spectre. C, Monthu. D, Ares. Or E, Plague.
I'm going with Ares.
He looks plague-ish.
He looks plague-ish.
Right? He has like, if I were a dude dressed like that, I could see myself being called Plague.
Why not Ares?
Legal reasons.
What legal reasons? Ares is an actual character in the Marvel Universe, right?
No, is he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm still sticking with Plague.
All right. Okay. Selena, once again, is going against you guys because she does not believe in you in your guesses. And this time, Selena's correct. It is the Black Spectre. Yes, nice. Indeed. Mark Spector has a villain named Black Spectre. And I think that's super awesome. This guy's story is really funny. He's just a white guy that was down on his luck, and he snapped one day from having a bunch of things just go wrong for him. And this is the outfit he put on and became
he painted
the Black
himself.
Yeah.
That's not good. No.
Yeah.
He just got himself ripped.
The funny thing is, meanwhile, like he was also, so here's the things. He was a veteran that returned home without applause. His job had been passed on, and his wife left him with their son. He barely got by as a delivery man, so that's probably where he got his abs. And then he found out his son was killed over the phone. So after his car was stripped for parts and a mugger accosted him, this guy snapped and nearly beat the guy to death. And then from then on, he became the Black Spectre, but also as a side gig, he also ran as the dark horse candidate for mayor.
Like, does this dude have like any weapons training? Like,
I don't think
like
so.
If I'm gonna go crazy, like,
no, under powers and abilities, nothing is listed.
Like,
this is just a guy. By the way, created by Doug Minch and Bill Sienkiewicz. This guy's dead. He's dead.
Okay, you're already problematic for the costume, and then
he's dead. Don't worry, he's dead.
Okay, all right.
There's a running theme here. They're all dead. Moving on. Next Moon Knight villain. Guess it. This is just This just look like evil Venom Moon Knight is
It
what
does.
Looks like.
It's Mumra.
I hate when they do that. I hate when they have these characters that are literally just the same thing. So your options are A, the Mummy, B, Moonwraith, C, Moonbeam, D, Shadow Knight, or E, Anubis.
Shadow Knight or Moonwraith. I'm gonna go with Moonwraith because there's moon stuff in that picture. Moonwraith, my final answer.
See, I like Anubis, but Anubis is an actual god who I don't think that would be the
I don't think
form
that's Anubis.
Selena thinks it's the Mummy, and Alina disagrees with Clarke and thinks it's Anubis.
I'm gonna go with Moonwraith with you too.
All right. Interesting that you guys are all wrong. It is Shadow Knight.
Wow.
This one is awkward. I actually don't want to explain him entirely right now, because part of his background leads into the other character that I'm going to show you next. But this is Randall Rand Spector. This is
another Spector.
This is the brother of Mark Spector. And surprisingly, he has no Khonshu powers. His powers are all like from some weird treatment that was it was called lunar treatments that granted him super strength and external durability that were developed by AIM. So his powers are meant to mimic those of Moon Knight. They're bootleg AIM Moon Knight powers. But he's a brother that has a chip on his shoulder, hates his brother, he goes around killing his girlfriends and stuff, and then trying to frame Mark for all these murderers and stuff. And don't worry though, he's dead. He's dead.
Moon Knight
also.
Don't play. Moon Knight gets it done.
Moon Knight don't play. It doesn't even matter if you're his brother. He's dead. Created by Doug Minch and Mike Zeck. This character was first appeared probably as his brother in 1979 in Hulk 17. But yeah, there you go. Dead. And the last character I will show you. You guys
aren't Moon Knight as old as the 70s? I thought it was
Moon Knight's,
in the 80s. Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know he went all the way back to the 70s.
Moon Knight's late 79. Or I mean late 70. But to be fair, that comic that he first appeared in is Hulk number 17. Okay. But in any this character appeared in, not Moon Knight. Anyways, let's move on to the last one because you guys aren't doing great here.
No.
Here you go. There's your last one.
Oh,
this is a very military looking guy with some white face paint. Your options are A, Chapel, B, Bushmaster, C, Priest, D, Kilgore, or E, Bushman.
Is it Bushman or Bushmaster?
Oh, should I just give you the answer? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking Clarke. It's one of the two.
I would go with Bushmaster then. Chapel is the
no. It's definitely Bush something. There's a bush in there.
There's a bush in there. Moon Knight first appeared in Werewolf by Night number 32, May 1975.
Wow, 75.
Is it Bushman?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Bushmaster.
I'll go Bushman. I'll split hairs. I don't think he's a master yet.
I don't think he's a master yet. Well, I don't see any guesses from the audience, so I'm going to move it on and tell you that finally Ricky got one right.
Yeah.
That is actually his last name is Bushman. It's not like a super villain name.
He's Dave. Dave Bushman.
His name is Raul Armand Bushman. He is a mercenary that was a fellow mercenary with Mark Spector and also Rand Spector. But yeah, so get this though. I noticed earlier in the show you mentioned that there was an artist that tried to make Moon Knight look more like Spawn. And I couldn't help but notice that this is really awkward because I think Spawn is a ripoff of Moon Knight, actually.
Yeah. That's why I asked about going.
His origin is actually these guys were on a mission, and I believe Bushman basically ended up killing everyone, or assuming he killed everyone during the mission. Like he tried to kill Mark, and he left him for dead. And so Bushman is actually the reason that Mark is left vulnerable when Khonshu approaches him and makes the deal with him. So what I thought's funny about that is the character Chapel in Spawn,
Yep,
who looks exactly like this guy, drawn by Rob Liefeld, is the guy that originally was responsible for mortally wounding Al Simmons and sending him to hell, where he made a deal with Malbolgia and got a super cool symbiote suit. So I just thought that was funny. It's like I never realized how much Spawn had stolen from Moon Knight, because I was too busy paying attention to all the other characters that
You're too busy buying the Spawn toys
that Spawn had stolen from Spider-Man and Venom and stuff. So I didn't realize that the story itself largely was just taken from Moon Knight's. Interestingly enough, later on in the comics, Todd McFarlane didn't want to pay Rob Liefeld for the rights to Chapel, so Todd McFarlane created a new character that was secretly revealed to be the actual one responsible, and her name was Priest. And that's where I came up with the two fake names.
Just Jessica Priest, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
You think we get a Bushman in the Moon Knight show?
I think you will. I think you definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna get his story. But yeah, that was the game, and I think with that question, I think it's time to move on to Moon Knight so we can further discuss that.
Yes.
But I had fun learning. Did you guys?
I learned a few things. Yeah.
Cool.
And like I will be honest, part of me, like, that's all I want to learn about Moon Knight. I'm really enjoying the show and learning it as I watch and seeing this interpretation. We'll get into more of that later.
I can't wait to see those characters make their MCU debut.
By the way, created by Doug Minch and Bill Sienkiewicz from 1980, and Bushman is not dead, by the way.
Doug Minch has kind of created some shitty characters.
Bushman is actually Moon Knight's arch enemy. He is the main Moon Knight villain in the stories. So that's why I believe your question would be like, yeah, he'll probably show up at some point. Like maybe as a tease at the end of the season, if they're not going to do him this season at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, by the way, Bushmaster is a villain that appeared in Luke Cage.
That's what it was. Okay. I know there's more than one Bush.
Yeah. Yeah. Second season of Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Moon Knight.
Let's talk about Moon Knight. Ooh, you updated the spotlight. I like it.
I did, right? I thought maybe I could try and milk it for some more some nuance to it. So last week our spotlight had a picture of Mark Spector, and this week it had a picture of the Mr. Knight that we've already talked about. So just to be clear, guys, we're finally here. We waited long enough. It's time to put a spotlight on Moon Knight, episode 2. It's called Summon the Suit. But before we do, spoiler warning. If you haven't watched it yet, please turn away and come back when you have. You'll thank us later. Cool. For anyone who chose to ignore that warning, here's a quick summary of this week's episode. Stephen discovers that his previous night's adventure in the museum was a delusion, or was it actually? He meets Mark's wife, Layla, and Harrow finds Stephen with the help of some friendly police officers, making another grab at the scarab needed to resurrect Amit. Was that pretty much? Was that it? That was pretty much the summary.
Yeah, they did a few things, and they're in Egypt.
Yeah. You fast forwarded right to the end, and we're good. There we go, everybody.
Yeah.
Tell me. Why don't we start with Clarke? Clarke, what were your favorite things about this episode? Who or what sold you on this one?
So I think this series is an absolute textbook slow burn, and I'm loving it. I love the slow introduction of the characters, starting with I mean, if I didn't know that Mark Spector was Moon Knight, I think it's really interesting watching the show that starts with his character of, Steve, his personality of Steven, and things. And I didn't know, so Layla being his wife again, since I don't know anything about, I'm like, ooh, wow, that's interesting. And then again, seeing more of the aspects of the characters. I love the dialogue between themselves and the use of mirrors, of reflection and lighting. The lighting on the work on this show is so good, and it's so visually and story wise and acting wise such a great adventure. I'm loving it.
Like, so. I feel like I want to see how long they can keep up the mirror thing. Like this episode surprised me in the amount of mirror shots that they squeezed into that were like so unconventional.
You know what's funny about that is that last week we were like wondering how long they can keep up the thing where Mark misses he misses out on the action, you know what I mean? And so like it just fast forwards, and they just abandoned that right away, right? I don't think they're gonna abandon the mirror thing because they abandoned the other thing, right? Like they were using like 2 conventions last week.
The other thing seemed like it was a good way to set up
the show.
Steven.
The
show ultimately. But now that we have Mark on the table.
Yeah, I don't want them to do that anymore.
And now that they've shown him in costume.
Yeah.
Like if they do it again, I would imagine it'll be to introduce a third personality.
Yeah.
If there is a third personality.
You know what was interesting about that is because they did introduce Mr. Knight today, or this week in this episode. And what's interesting about that is in the comics, Mr. Knight actually is a different personality.
That's what I kind of got from this. I thought Mr. Knight was a different personality.
No, in this, I've seen the producers said it's actually this is what Steven believes cool is.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Steven's view of what a cool suit would be. Okay. So this is like some weird. This is some weird happy middle ground. But yeah, in the comics, Mr. Knight operates as an alternate personality for Moon Knight. He consults with police about crimes and operates more like a subtle detective rather than a violent vigilante, though he is still capable of aggression too. And then the fun thing that people put out at the end of this little description that I found of him is, hey, sometimes even superheroes got to dress up. And so that's the description of Mr. Knight. But I was kind of excited to learn more about this character because I've known through osmosis for my whole life who Moon Knight is, even if I didn't like the character. But Mr. Knight, when I started seeing him in the trailers, I'm like, who is this guy? So I think I like it. I'm still waiting to see. Like, it was a funny reveal. It was definitely a funny reveal. What else did you like? You hit on the giant sweeping things about both episodes, but what did you like about this episode specifically?
I did like Steven's desperation, or first his desperation in trying to prove to Layla or somebody else that he is himself, that he's somebody.
Yeah.
Like fighting for that reality. But then what I really liked is then the acknowledgement that, all right, I may be somebody, but I'm clearly part of something else, and now I'm gonna play in that world. Now I'm gonna acknowledge it and stuff. Yeah. So I liked that character progression because you could only have that helpless vibe for so long. So I like where that goes. I also really like the character they have of, is it who's the one that Moon Knight, the long,
that's Khonshu.
Khonshu.
Yeah.
See, this is how little I know the I don't have memorized. Yeah, Khonshu. So I like having Khonshu. Yeah, bird dude, perching in the background, and then having his little arguments with him. I enjoyed that a lot. And then I honestly just kind of geek it just because it was nice to see the powers. I like seeing Moon Knight running across the when Mark took over and seeing Moon Knight actually start really using some of his powers, and reminded me like a superhero, like Daredevil or Spider-Man, and we all love those scenes of them either swinging through the city or leaping across the rooftops. So we finally got to see that, and it excites me. I thought that was really, really cool, seeing the agility. Like, okay, this is he's a superhero, and he's got gear and he's got stuff. So
who knew seeing Moon Knight in the Moon Knight show would be so cool?
Well, that's what I like about
episode.
Again,
no,
that's
you're not wrong.
like
the
slow
first
build.
one got no Moon Knight.
No, I know exactly. The build has just been so good, and then I'm enjoying seeing Ethan Hawke's character take
He's really
more shape
in the show for me.
Yeah,
I
put down in my list of likes and stuff. Like, I just put one thing. I put Harrow and Steven are the entire show. Like you can introduce Layla, but I didn't really care about her because primarily you can introduce those two detectives too. But again, I don't care about them. I don't know who the security guard that keeps calling him Scotty. I don't know who any of these people are, and I don't know that I care about them yet. But I care about Steven, and I care about how interesting Arthur Harrow is, and Ethan Hawke. I just love this guy so much, man. I watch everything that he's in, and he's great. And so it's so exciting to me to see this character being a villain that already knows the entire score. He knows everything about this dude in the second episode. That's not good. That's not good. But not only does he know him, he's walked his path before. He is apparently the previous avatar of Khonshu.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's been with Khonshu so long that he knows all of his little idiosyncrasies and everything. It's so funny. And yeah, Ethan Hawke sold that so hard. I'm really excited about him. I do have a question for you guys. Do you guys did you think it's weird? Do you think his plot, his supervillain plot, is familiar at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it reminded me of Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's his idea is resurrect Amit, who prefers to judge people for any evil they may do in the future, and kill them right away. And that's literally Hydra's entire plan for Captain America Winter Soldier. So I mean, I don't mind because we're doing it a different way, but with the Egyptian god flavor instead of crazy just
religion flavor, right?
Minority Report.
It's I don't know that it's just a religion flavor, because there's a difference between religion and actual gods, right? When gods are battling on your plane, it exceeds religion. Religion is about having faith in something you don't see or believe, right? Or something you don't see or know to be true for sure. They're just gods. There's just actual gods now that are playing in our world.
On that note, I like how you're, even without the stuff from Haro, the Khonshu stuff, he is not trying to find the altruistic in the same sense. He's just the other side of the coin, but it doesn't necessarily make him benevolent or
I don't know enough about him.
You get the sense that he's definitely using Mark for his own personal gain.
Yeah, what's funny is he's the god of the moon, but he's clearly the god of vengeance too. That's his I don't know how you tie those two things in together,
it's
but
additional responsibilities.
Yeah, his deal is vengeance for sure. So yeah, I like F. Mary Abraham as Moon Knight, or I mean as Khonshu, whatever. But it still feels like I'm a little bit like Venom when it's playing out, like the Venom movie. You know what I mean?
There's no lips. It's just the voice, right?
There's no lips, and it's just the voice, and he's yelling at him to do ridiculous things, like snap his windpipe, do it quick. It's just right now it's still got a Venom flavor to it, and I want that taste gone, because I want to see. So it was nice to see Moon Knight run on a rooftop and stuff, but I need to see a lot more Moon Knight before I can separate him from Venom right now because it's.
But that's the beauty. Again, it's only episode 2.
Yeah, for sure. I will say I am happy to see that they didn't do the thing that I kind of wanted last week, which was let's run the whole episode back, but this time do it in Mark's shoes. I'm kind of happy they didn't do it.
You don't need to do it. I don't think you need to do it.
I just really wanted to see what happened to that goldfish. I really, really did. And maybe we still will, but I liked that the second episode continued advancing the story 100%, to the point where Ethan Hawke figured out everything there is to know. And he got the evil MacGuffin that he needed to do his evil plan. So the timetables, like the escalation of urgency is crazy. Like it's there, you know what I mean? To the point where, like you said, Ricky, now we're in Egypt, and I think and he completely lost his job in London. So I think London's done on the show. I think we've wrapped on London, and yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I think
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think the next few episodes are going to be in Egypt for sure. But do you think this show ends in New York?
And that was something I've been trying to think of. How is this going to tie into the rest of the MCU? Because right now it's very separate, its own. But again,
Ricky wants a Werewolf by Night.
It's so early.
You get a Werewolf by Night in this.
I don't even want to speculate. Yeah, but that would be cool. Maybe a Blade appearance.
Yeah.
I think Marvel Knights could be a thing, especially with Disney Plus shows.
The only way I see him going to New York is like the end credits. Like, where are you gonna go now? I heard the new Statue of Liberty is cool, and then like it'll be if it's like that. I don't know.
I'm so glad you don't write these things, but I am wondering. Did you write Michael Keaton's lines in Morbius though? I
hope the food's better in this joint. Like
that's literally what he says after teleporting to another reality. Anyways,
I'm cool with him chilling out in London for a little bit more.
Yeah, he doesn't have much reason to anymore, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than he's getting his postcards from his mom there, that's about it.
Unless a Werewolf by Night shows up, then a Blade could show up.
Yeah, I know you want those things. I think for some reason I want him in New York more than I want those things.
I know for people who know the character, he is a New York character, right?
Well, you know what he's missing is he's missing an actual base of operation and a Moon Knight plane.
Moon Knight has he's like Batman, right?
He's got a giant crescent that he flies around in. Yeah, and like
maybe he ends with because in the comics Steven is a Playboy persona, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
One of his personas is like rich and wealthy, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's rich. It's not a Playboy. Okay. It's Mark. He's a mercenary. You can make a lot of money being a mercenary.
Oh yeah, moon plane money.
I mean,
hey, Cobra had a lot of money.
Yeah, sure. Get him to New York.
Cobra Commander was a used car salesman.
Was he really?
Did you say? Yeah. He was.
God. Did he not sell enough cars, and that was his like motivation, or
what? He had a bad day, kind of like the Black Spectre.
Yeah.
He just went in a different direction. Sea Cow Soda says, "Need giant crescent plane, please." That's what I'm saying. I want that so much more than a Blade cameo or a Werewolf by Night.
I just looked up what the crescent plane looks like.
It's awesome, isn't it?
I am team crescent plane.
Yeah, Ricky, you got to share a picture with it at some point. Yeah. But while you're looking that up, Sea Cow Soda does have a fun question for us that I really kind of do want answered. What would all of your Khonshu suits look like, since apparently they are based on the wearer? So as we've seen, the Moon Knight costume is quite flamboyant and quite superhero with the cape and everything. But then when Mr. Knight did it, it's a nice felt suit. So what would yours be, Clarke?
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Suit. But with like a moon on it, right?
Yes,
like
a moon. But it'll look more like the tire guy.
Michelin Man.
The Michelin Man.
The Michelin Man
with the moon.
I like it. Ricky, what do you think?
I feel like it would be Mr. Knight-esque. Maybe not as quite as nice of a suit as that, but suit-esque, suit adjacent. Maybe with a half cape. Give me a Shazam half cape. That's what I want.
You want the Shazam half cape?
I want the Shazam half cape.
I like it. That's pretty good.
How about you?
By the way, that link you sent me did not work, Ricky. So now I have to look up.
I didn't send that.
Oh. Well, the link Clarke sent me didn't work.
Well, boo.
I'm looking for it. Oh, there is the crescent plane. I found it. That thing is awesome looking.
Well, what's your Moon Knight, Dennis?
Definitely, there's a moon chair that would look more like a moon throne.
Is it electric still or no?
I mean, it's powered by the moon, but also it's like the opposite of solar power, right? So like the moon actually like powers it so that it can store energy. Yeah, I know this. If I had my choice, it would not look like Egyptian like tattered mummy wrap. That's a weird look, but just for your benefit, here's that moon plane right here. That thing is awesome looking. I mean, come on, this looks like something out of Star Wars anyways. It almost looks like a Jedi starfighter. It's pretty good.
I want to see the moon chair now.
Yeah, see, I sold you on it. It's like a moon chair that enters a moon plane and like becomes the cockpit chair for the.
I feel like if you do it right, the wheels can actually be like a crescent moon, like where the
Yeah.
ends come so close, but it's still a circle.
See, the thing is, like, yeah, it's the cool thing is it's clearly a giant symbiote like suit, so it can make whatever the wearer wants. So yeah, I think I want a moon chair. I'm not even thinking about like, hey, make me walk. I didn't even. That wasn't even the first thought I went to. I didn't even think of that. And Picasso says, nice. Yeah. So I guess the real question is like, I mean, unless you can keep talking about whatever stuff you liked about this episode. I do. Oh, by the way, I did have fun facts on those detectives. By the way, I forgot to mention them. There's two detectives, or by quotes on detectives because they were clearly evil people.
Right. Yeah. Well, they had the tattoos.
They are credited as Bobby Fitzgerald and Billy Kennedy in the credits. And this is apparently a reference to the Moon Knight comic run from 2016 to 2018, where they work as Amit's two right-hand men to keep Mark from coming to reality. So that was a nice little nod to the comics there.
See, you just had I had another Spawn flashback when you said Billy Kennedy. I'm like, oh, like Billy Kincaid?
I don't remember Billy Kincaid.
That was the serial killer that Spawn first killed. That was his first.
Oh, yeah.
His first kill.
I had another fun fact for you guys before we move on to more of it. Did you notice that when Steven was shown to the storage locker, there was a number 43 and next to it a prominent scannable QR code?
Oh, I read about this one.
It links to a readable comic featuring Moon Knight on the Marvel website.
Nice.
That's awesome cross promotion.
Isn't it?
It might be the first one. I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, but it's a Moon Knight comic book still. It's his first appearance.
That was pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed the progress that we got in this episode a lot. Like just the whole moving the story forward, getting to see more Mark and more Steven. I think the one, like a lot of Steven's interactions with Layla remind me of like bad dreams that I have sometimes where you can't express a problem in like a bad dream, right? And that's like you just can't think of the words to express what's going on around you. I get the sense that that's kind of what Steven feels like, is he knows there's something, he's slowly learning about his condition, but explaining that to people is a problem that he's having, to almost the point where he's not disclosing that,
Probably because he hasn't had it diagnosed professionally, by anybody yet. But I do appreciate, like Clarke was saying, his level of self-awareness, right? He's known he's had something wrong for a long time,
right?
But now he's like, oh man, my whole life,
like he's coming to terms with
it's been you this whole time. Yeah.
The only thing I kind of don't want it to be is that's the reason why Khonshu picked him, right? I would kind of like him to be too independent.
Harrow kind of suggested that. He suggested that.
It.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that though.
Well, I think you're gonna get an answer eventually, because I think we need to know why Khonshu picked him. Other than I don't think Khonshu's desperate. You know what I mean? So like, if it's not Harrow anymore, then why Steven? And you got to wonder, is this a better way to hide? You know what I mean? Like, because you can hide in a personality. Who knows? But is it easier to manipulate the person if they don't know, if they can't trust their own sense of reality? Do you know what I mean? Because like, even we talked about it last week, and how like the times I've read the Moon Knight comic, it was really trippy because the writer at the time was kind of making the audience and Mark question whether or not any of it was actually real. And I really like that this episode started with that very thing happening, right? When Steven goes to run back the tape, and he's like, hey man, I just got to warn you, what you're about to see is going to freaking blow your mind, And then they play it, and it's pretty damning for Steven, right? It's and as the audience, you're like, wait, what? Like, what did I see? So I appreciate that they keep playing with that idea of the unreliable narrator. So to the point where, like, that's why I'm not really allowing myself.
But they make it somewhat reliable at the end when he fights the Jackal again, and Layla can see that she can't see the Jackal, but she knows something's there.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely clear that up by the end of the episode, but it's fun for the time being until Layla had a purpose in that story, and it's to make it clear that Mark and Steven are not insane. Like they do. Well, I mean, sorry, they can be insane, but their insanity is not making up crazy jackal beasts. Those are actually there. So.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that idea also of these Egyptian gods playing on our universe without being seen by anybody. That's a nice way to clean that up for all of history, right? With all of history, unless they choose you to see them, you don't see them. That makes it really easy to say, like, well, wait, how did this happen? Nobody saw it.
Make it kind of weird though. Does like every planet that has a moon have a Khonshu?
Well, he's the Egyptian god, so I believe it's an Egyptian it's an Egyptian pantheon. So like
the Egyptians manifest him, or did he manifest Egypt?
I mean, that's kind of a deep question that you could ask about all religion, Ricky.
Yeah, let's get into deep religion talk right now.
The Norse gods, do they come down?
Yeah, like Neil Gaiman likes to touch on that a lot, and question whether or not gods need us more than we need them. So yeah, that's a question that could go down a giant rabbit hole, but I don't know that this show is going to answer that or even touch on that.
High religion topics in the Moon Knight show. You don't think we're going to get there?
I think you will get some. I don't think it's going to go I don't think it's going to go deep enough that it would end up leaving a bad taste in some people's mouths. You know what I mean? Sea Cow Soda is asking, did Marvel, and I think she means the comics, leave any pantheons alone? And I'm going to say no. To my knowledge, I have seen Neil Gaiman bring in all of them into the Marvel universe. And by all, I mean my limited knowledge of pantheons. I don't think anything's off limits. It's just some are more prominent than others. So that's why we were mentioning earlier, Ricky, Ares does exist in the Marvel universe, and he's a dick. And he's also been an Avenger too.
Yep.
He's not as cool as Hercules. Probably because he's really obsessed with war.
Yeah, I would do it, right?
Yeah. But Ares also was one of the heads on the tower in Thor Ragnarok.
He was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he's there. He's chilling somewhere then.
Till the sentry tears him in half.
Yeah, and by the way, I totally forgive you for choosing Ares because I
the helmet is what threw me.
Yeah, as soon as you saw the thing, I was like, yeah, he's gonna say Ares, so it's okay. I threw you for I tricked you.
You did. Is a similar design with the skull and the helmet. That's true.
It's almost like that guy had a bad day and then looked up a picture of Ares and then said, I'm going to be the Black Spectre.
Well, I'm going to paint myself first and then dress like Ares.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
I will say this. I know that Kevin Feige has kind of hyped people a little bit by saying like he thinks that Moon Knight is a very brutal show. I'm still waiting for that brutality. I don't think watching a jackal monster be impaled is on the same scale of brutality as the Punisher raking a man's face across glass.
Well, you gotta. I know they're on Disney Plus now, but excluding the Netflix shows, is this more violent than the stuff that we've seen prior, or no?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Because like in the first episode, they implied a lot of violence, but also like didn't let you see any of it, right?
But
like,
yeah, it's just a slow build, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he racked up quite the body count in the first episode, but we just didn't get to see any of the action.
I want to see that costume get bloody, that white costume.
Yeah, right. It doesn't seem to get bloody though. Isn't that weird? Yeah. I know in the comic, one of the things he likes to do is take 3 of his little crescents and put them between his fingers, kind of like a fake Wolverine claw, and he wrecks people's faces with that. So I'm waiting for the blood. I want to see the blood. I'm not mad at the show. I'm just saying right now, it's not giving me everything I want, but it is still really great to watch. It's fun. But I want violence. Like, that's what I want. I want him to be, because like, it's not enough to see him jumping around buildings for me. I need to see, why are you different from everybody else?
Yeah, he hasn't shown.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
He's like a cool.
But again, it's only been 2 episodes.
I know.
Right
and he did kill that jackal pretty good. I'm just saying, I want to see a lot more.
I haven't seen him doing anything Moon Knight specific, right? He's basically Black Panther in the stuff that we've seen him.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Steve Calsoda on this and her latest comment.
Well, she said, well, Mark is main now, so he will be violent at AF.
Yeah, that was a big turn.
Yeah,
right? We get Mark back.
Mark took over. Yeah,
yeah. So,
but I feel bad for Steven, right? So like I kind of like, as much as like a comic purist, I want it to be Mark so I can enjoy Moon Knight action all the time. The show made me love Steven.
Yeah.
In the
I'm sure we haven't seen the end of Steven.
Yeah, it's kind of like how they made me care about Groot. You know what I mean? Even though Groot is a dumb character that says 1 word all the time or 3 words all the time. I'm like, no, I like Groot. So yeah, Steven's pretty charming. I'm gonna use pun intended. I was over the moon last week. I was slightly less so this week. But I did enjoy it, and I want more every time it ends. So that's a good sign of a good show. And I was very happy to go and read all this lore about Moon Knight, the character, and it made me even more happy to know that all of his villains end up dead. He just kills them, and that's great. And that makes him complicated, you know. And so I want to see that complexity on screen. So yeah. But do you guys have any more you want to talk about the show? Anything else that stood out?
I got nothing more to share about the moon.
I think we covered most of the stuff.
Okay. All right. I felt like they definitely leaned on the music a lot less in this episode than last. I thought last episode was heavy-handed with the moon / wake me up songs.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty heavy. So yeah, villain this season is Mark to Steven. I kind of like that, see Calsoda, because I don't believe that Alex Harrow is the real main villain of the show. I think they, you know, like I think it's an interesting take that he was Moon Knight at one point, or a type of Moon Knight, whatever. But I think I'd be okay with Mark being the biggest villain to Steven, even though Mark is necessary for us to enjoy our nerdy superhero action.
They gotta have Shadow Knight.
Yeah.
And Mr. Midnight.
I really hope that we don't get Mark's brother in this season.
Okay, that's true.
That was dumb. And like when I read that, oh man, there was another character that I almost brought out, which I didn't do. Moonshade is another villain.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
And he almost looks the exact same as as Shadow Knight, but a little simpler on the detail. Moonshade, for those who care, is the Infinity War doppelganger of Moon Knight.
I want to see. I want to know more about Moon Knight's powers, like in the context of this show.
Yeah,
I mean, back to like what he can and can't do, but what can he come out during the daytime?
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Is he not as strong in the daytime? Is he?
Yeah.
Are the powers? Just
is he moon powered? What happens when the moon's not out?
I know there's some shots of Steven in the Mr. Knight suit where you can see his eyes. So is that just something he just turns on and off, or is that, I don't know. I want to know more about the power set. Get what, why, and the how. So
I agree. I hope we get all that. I can wrap this up, and so we can go talk about whatever the hell we want on the other show. But if you guys, it sounds like we're winding down, and I don't want to draw this out. It's fine if we're done at 9:30. We're done at 9:30. So I'll say thanks to Ricky and Clarke for nerding out with me today. We'll be back next week discussing Moon Knight again and all the latest news with special guests Mikey and Dev.
Whoa, we got both of them.
We got both of them. I knew I'd surprise
Dev.
I knew I'd surprise Ricky with that one. Thanks to our patrons for supporting our growth and to our audience for tuning in. You guys were fun in the comments, by the way. That was really fun. I like how they always show up for the game. Every time we do the game, people start chiming in. And it's pretty cool. That's all the more reason to keep that game in there. But yeah, if you had fun, which I think you did, please remember to like and subscribe and check us out on Patreon for our after show, The Soapbox, starting moments from now. And yeah, I think that's it. Unless Clarke, do you have anything you want to share with the audience and let them know where they can find you, what you've been doing?
Yeah, I was just in a production of Hamlet, which went
Really
very
good.
well and Ricky came to see me. And if you want to see it, all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in PCC TV, and you just scroll down and you'll find Hamlet. So that was at Pasadena City College. We put on a great production. It's just do a search for PCC TV on YouTube and scroll past the K-pop group. That's not me.
It's worth it enough just to see Clarke in all that makeup.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, Clarke dies.
And yeah, I do.
Why are you spoiling Hamlet, bro?
Wow.
Can we not spoil? Is there?
I'm basically Scar in The Lion King. So,
but with more makeup.
Yeah, but with more makeup and without the glasses.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry we don't have a link for you right now, but yeah, I'll put that in the description so anybody who wants to can find it. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight. See you next time on Den Excelsior, True Believers. Enough said.
See you guys.